Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for DavieVids is one of them, I should say. And this one he listed as one, but I'll separate it as two, and I'll talk about the worst, just to rant and rage. First off, for anyone interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, tier list ranking, review, re-review, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to as soon as I possibly can. And as I was saying before, I wanted to rage a bit right now since my internet company has been the shits for the past week. Now I can watch videos, I can watch a movie slower than should. I can still upload stuff, which is nice, so that's, it can be a lot worse. But I know there's issues and problems and drop-offs, and they're like, everything's fine on our end. I'm like, oh, I must be fucking hallucinating then. I didn't say that, but the frustration was there. And it's funny how, like, they could take you, 10 seconds to take your money, but if you need help, it'll take, like, so far, it's been a damn week. Going back and forth, playing fuck games, going back and forth, playing phone tag. We'll call you back, yet it's like noon, and then they close at 5, and they still didn't call you back, and then you can't wait till tomorrow where you want to give them an earful, but you can't because, try to be nice guy. So yeah, I figure since I'm pissed off about that, and I'm recording this on August 27th, so on Wednesday, so we'll see. But he asked from DavieVids, sorry, I'm getting riled up. He asked for my top 10 favorite films and top 10 worst films of 1994, and I figured I'll do the worst ones first. Just why not? So the worst, and if you hear the fan, is because it's hot as fuck at Texas. Another thing pissed me off. So everything pissed me off today. This whole week. Been one of those weeks. Sounds like a Limp Bizkit song. Been one of those days. So, top 10 worst films of 1994 in my opinion. There's quite a bit to choose from. Also, it's a bit weird because sometimes I'll look up lists or look up what films came out this year and they would give me the wrong year. Like, oh, Bitter Moon, that Roman Polanski film. But I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's 1992. Why the fuck is it saying 1994 in this one place? That looked some up, oh, it's 1992. So, yeah. Number 10, I put Junior. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who the fuck wanted to see Arnold pregnant? I don't know. I didn't. You didn't. Most people did not want to see a comedy where Arnold Schwarzenegger was pregnant. It was a stupid idea. It was an asinine idea. It's funny how Arnold, others made fun of Stallone for doing Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I would rather watch Stop or My Mom Will Shoot any day over Junior. I think Stop or My Mom Will Shoot is a much better movie than Junior. Because that, at least that has some action. Like the bit with the truck and the plane, the propellers are cut into the truck. That's cool. And I think there's actually some funny bits with Stallone and Estelle Getty. I don't mind that film. I don't hate that film. Junior, though, I think Arnold wearing drag and being pregnant and that nightmare scene with the Arnold baby, that's more embarrassing. Well, other than Stallone wearing a diaper. They're both embarrassing, but Junior, I think, is more embarrassing in my eyes. So, yeah, Junior. Dan DeVito felt like he was given nothing to do. And while in Twins, it felt like they both had equal footing. This one, it just felt like Dan DeVito was more in the background. Maybe it's not the way screen time was, but that's what it felt like. I mean, they wanted to recapture Twins, and it just wasn't the same. Emma Thompson, I got some fun out of her character, but yeah. It's not the worst movie ever, that's why it's number 10, but during that era, it was definitely, I thought, the weakest Arnold film in that era. Late 80s, early 90s. Number 9, Ernest Goes to School. And in fact, I want to make sure this is 94, right? I knew it's 94, but I want to make sure. Yeah, it is 94. Ernest Goes to School. I know it may seem like a weird choice, but I remember as a kid being disappointed in this film because I'm a fan of the Ernest movies. I'm a fan of Jim Varney, and I'm a fan of a lot of the movies he was in, especially the Ernest films. I grew up with those films. I know, funny enough, I did not grow up with Ernest Goes to Camp, but Ernest Scared Stupid, Goes to Jail, Saves Christmas, those are the three Ernest films I watched the most as a kid. And then even Ernest Rise Again, as a fan of the character. Yes, Ernest Rise Again, you definitely can feel it's more of a direct-to-video film. It's more of a cheaper film. You say I'm giving it leniency because I'm a fan. A chunk of it is Ernest riding this cannon from along this road, and some hijinks ensue. But I liked it. I mean, that was another one I saw early on in my age, and I had fun with Jim Varney. I liked the guy that's kind of his sidekick, the professor guy. I liked him, and I liked their banter together. And like I say, it's much more of a cheaper production, much more direct-to-video. But I like Ernest Rides Again. This is the first time I was ever disappointed in an Ernest film, and for me, this was the beginning of the end of his movies. Because none of his films after this I liked. At least as an Ernest character. Because he had Ernest, Slam Dunk Ernest I didn't care for. Ernest Goes to Africa, Ernest in the Army, those were embarrassing. And in this one, I thought it was disappointing. I'm like, okay. I remember seeing the trailer, kind of a teaser. It was like a teaser set up at the end of Ernest Rise Again. I'm like, okay. Him going back to school. There's a lot of opportunities that you could have. Ernest in a school environment. A lot of, whether it be gym class and him trying to be cool with a basketball maybe. But no, like, it just was really lame and lousy film. I think there's this bit like they try to make him super smart, which just wasn't that funny, wasn't that interesting. They really dropped the ball with the script. I had an idea. This comes from a guy that likes Ernest Rise Again, so that's saying a lot. But Ernest Goes to School, I remember being very disappointed in that. Just to watch Billy Madison instead. Much better version. Number 8, Leprechaun 2, because fuck you. 2, Leprechaun 2. Fuck Leprechaun 1 and 3, and all the Leprechaun films can go fuck themselves. I don't like a single Leprechaun film. I hate every single Leprechaun film. I think all the Leprechaun films suck fucking major dick. Including Leprechaun 2. And so that's why. Number 7, Clifford. Because I'm supposed to buy that Martin Short plays a 10, 11-year-old kid. And nobody looks at this as weird. Everyone just buys into it. I like Charles Grodin. I think he does the best that he can. But Martin Short, I find very... I like Martin Short in other movies. In this, I found very annoying. Very irritating of a character. A very hateable character. If there's any point that they're supposed to care for each other at the end, I don't buy it. 1 cent, $1. Find it a very unfunny comedy. Clifford. I also remember as a younger seeing it being confused because I'm like, this ain't about the big red dog? No, he's got a... I thought like the cover he had like a red sweater, but I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, this is a weird adaptation. They made Clifford the dog. It's like, no, it's not. It's a different Clifford, but... Not a fan. Didn't think it was a funny movie. Number 6, Exit to Eden. Yeah, let's take Rosie O'Donnell and Dan Aykroyd as cops and go to an island where there's a lot of S&M sexual fantasies going on. And they're only in the film for a little bit. It's mostly about characters trying to be funny but failing on this pleasure island and weird S&M fut games. And I'm like, what is this shit? It's awkward, it's cringe, it's unfunny. It feels like it's just it doesn't have an actual story, an actual flow to it. Fuck Exit the Eden. Exit the movie. And don't come back, Jack. Number 5, Beverly Hills Cop 3. I think this is rated R, but I always feel like it's PG-13. I always keep thinking it's PG-13, although I think it's rated R still, but it feels like it. It just, John Landis was not a fit for Beverly Hills Cop. He even said Eddie Murphy at this time didn't want to be funny, he wanted to be more serious, which was a mistake. Or hell, yeah, it was a mistake. And the comedy that was there was not worthwhile. I mean, the beginning, it's a chop shop, but then the people start singing to, like, was it the Supremes? They start singing and dancing together. Just goofball horseshit that you would not see in the first 2 Beverly Hills Cop films. Hector Elizondo, I liked him in films like Leviathan, but he was not a good replacement for John Ashton's character. He didn't play the same character, but you could tell that he put him in there as a replacement. He just didn't fit in this movie. Judge Reinhold, I mean, he's not given a whole lot to do in the 4th one either. Same with this. But the 4th film I'd find a lot better overall film, in my opinion. This one, I thought they could have given a lot more to Judge Reinhold. The amusement park aspect maybe could have worked, but it felt it felt like something that when someone like Bill Murray or someone like Robin, you take an actor, you know them for a certain type of comedy. Bill Murray, kind of the smarmy guy, but the kind of, I don't want to say passive aggressive, but you see Stripes and Ghostbusters and Meatballs, and that's kind of Bill Murray's type of character that he's the best at. Eddie Murphy, The Golden Child, the first 2 Beverly Hills Cop, Metro, to me that's the type of character he's the best at. When you try to go against the grain, no matter where you put it environment-wise, it's just not going to be a fit. In this case, this Axel Foley is more volatile. He's more running head and getting angry instead of outthinking the situation, outwitting the situation. You didn't really have much of his wit and snappy comebacks like you did in the first 2 or even in the 4th one. Again, the amusement park could be an interesting location for this kind of thing if Axel Foley acted like Axel Foley. If Eddie Murphy actually portrayed Axel Foley. Instead, he portrayed like he wanted to be Wesley Snipes in Passenger 57, which I think some people have said that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be Wesley Snipes in Passenger 57. Like, that's more of the character he wanted to be, not Axel fucking Foley. The villains were lame. Axel Foley is going around with a fucking elephant mascot on. Like, what? Why do we want to see Axel Foley wearing an elephant mascot suit? The music, it didn't fit, but not having the music from the first 2 films, like, here was Harold Faltermeyer. You don't have it, so it just, like, the music seems like a goofier version of the score from the first 2. That's why it almost makes it really enough. I don't know what. For some reason, it feels more like a kid's film. I know this sounds stupid because of the rating, but it feels like a kid's film. Maybe because with the amusement park, you have all these kids around, so Axel Foley can't really talk like he usually does. Having all the cameos, that there's George Lucas and other people in it. The music feels like a goofier, more titty version of the Harold Faltermeyer score in the first 2. I forget who did the music for this one, honestly. I'd have to look it up. If it is Harold Faltermeyer, I'm going to be surprised. I don't, you know what, whatever. If he did, he fucked up. If he didn't, then they fucked up for not, I don't blame him for not coming back. It doesn't matter. The music sucks. It doesn't matter who did. The music fucking sucks. There's no, I mean, at least the first two had good original songs. This doesn't have a good original song in his body. Him wearing, like, the fucking elephants, fucking stupid. It did. Oh yeah, the Serge coming back. Okay, he came back in the fourth one as well. But that stupid fucking gun that's not a microwave or has Jerry Lewis tunes and it's again goofball horseshit. Just more goofy than anything. A goofy Swiss Army knife type of gun. All the other shit. It didn't work for Beverly. I hate Beverly Hills Cop 3. I can't even say fucking words. I hate it. That's why I was so surprised by the fourth one. Is it the second coming of Eddie Murphy? No, but I like Beverly Hills Cop 4. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was much more in tone with the first two. Is it perfect? No, but I quite like it. And that's a better way to end the franchise than this piece of shit. Number 4, Police Academy 7, Mission to Moscow. The title kind of says it all. But this is where you barely had anybody left in the goddamn Police Academy to go over there. You had Michael Winslow, you had... You know what? I don't even remember who the fuck all was in it. Now that I said, I gotta look up the... Well, since I'm here... If my internet fucking works, it's going to take forever. Yep, there you go, slowing down. So give me another fucking 5 years, you know. Maybe if I punch the fucking buttons harder, I'll do it. But yeah, while it does that, it'll fucking wait to load up. I like the Police Academy films, the first 4. 5 is when it started losing me. When the Goot, Steve Gutenberg, left, it started losing me. Because I think Steve Gutenberg was a good lead in those films. The third one's actually my favorite. That's the one I watched the most when I was a kid. But I like the first 4. The 5th one, it lost me. I'm not a fan of the 6th one. But the 7th one is so unneeded. You could tell that they were just lacking in the humor, the script. Like, there was nothing left in the tank. You say there's nothing left in the tank ages ago, but this perfectly showcased it. And you just look at the cover. You look at the cover and you see just how little of the original cast is left. Michael Winslow, David Graff as Tackleberry, the guy with the gun. Michael Winslow, of course, did all the sound effects. Leslie Easterbrook as Callahan with the nice titties. And then the Commandant, George Gaines. That's all who was fucking left. That's it. That's all that was left. I mean, you say G.W. Bailey, but I mean, of the cast, sure, but I'm talking about like the heroes of the film. The heroes. And I'm sitting there going, there's nobody left. There's nobody fucking left. What the fuck happened? I mean, when you get to a point where, okay, Steve Gutenberg is gone, Bubba Smith is gone, Marion Ramsey Hooks is gone, you don't have Brian Tochi coming back, who was in 3 and 4. You don't have Bobcat Goldthwait. You don't have Sweet Chuck, Tim Krasinski, fucked up his name. You don't even have Proctor, Lansdowne, you don't even have Proctor back. Why do you have all these fucking people missing? Because they cheaped out. They cheaped out. They said, we're only going to bring back a couple of you. And I'm sorry, with those few left, it didn't work. And it was something about a fucking... What the hell? Some fucking video game. I swear it's like some fucking video game that bring down security systems. I'm like, what the fuck is this plot about? I mean, you don't look at police academy films for plot, but it's like, what the fuck is this? I mean, what if they did Police Academy 8? What would it be? The retirement home? Just the bottom of the barrel fucking sequels. You think about how many fucking Police Academy films they made, and you just say how bad some of the later ones are. That's how bad this one is. It killed the fucking franchise, and they didn't make any more. That's how bad this fucking film is. Number 3, It's Pat. She fat. He fat. Fuck, it's Pat. You fat. Don't give a fuck about Pat. Pat's an awful fucking film. I reviewed the film. It's the one joke of, is it a girl, is it a guy? I don't care, is it alive or is it Memorex? I don't give a shit. It was a movie that had no fucking story. And the main character was such a hateful person. Every person Pat would come into contact with, Pat treated him awful. Pat treated him like shit. Pat was a selfish, terrible individual. Why should we care who the fuck Pat is? Why should we be around this person? Why should we care what this person does or doesn't do? It had no story, just Pat being a fucking asshole to everybody, treating everybody like shit, but we're for some reason supposed to root for this person. And then this one guy, which I think he was the main bad guy at the end of Dumb and Dumber. At the end there. I think. I forget his name. For some reason, being obsessed with Pat, which didn't make any fucking sense. Wanting to know, is that a guy or a girl? Who gives a shit? Why do you give a shit? And then, like, the one guy who... He's like... I gotta look it up. Wasn't it a person that you could recognize? See, I don't remember some of these fucking films. If it's that goddamn bad, I don't remember it. Was it Dave Foley? I think it was Dave Foley. Like, Dave Foley and Pat get married. I'm like, don't. Don't. Please don't. You deserve better. You're going to electric chair if you marry fucking Pat. I'm like, Dave Foley, his character didn't deserve that horrible fate to be married to this putz scum fuck. Awful fucking character, Pat. Awful character. I'd rather be Pat Sajak. Fuck this Pat. So that was number 2, North. I'd rather go south across the fucking border. If you show the cartel this fucking movie, they'd all be dead, and you'd be safe passage all the way back down to the bottom of South America. I don't know what the fuck Rob Reiner was thinking making this film. This is the one that Roger Ebert had that infamous quote, I hated this movie. I don't blame him. I hated it too. Elijah Wood plays a kid who is a selfish prick that decides, but at the same time, everybody around him is selfish and awful too. His parents are, everybody is, so he divorces his parents. Then he just goes across to different families, and they have the most stereotypical, unfunny, borderline racist jokes everywhere they go. Oh, they're Texas, so they're fat and they love the beef. And like some of the other, like, what the fuck is this shit? Bruce Willis is in it as this guy that keeps popping up, and at one point he's wearing a fucking pink bunny rabbit suit. And the jokes, they're at time. It's, you know what's funny? I just watched a film called Rabbit Test, where the second half, Billy Crystal's going to all these different countries. And it was kind of the same type of shitty humor you would see in this fucking film. So I'm like, Rob Reiner, were you a big fan of Rabbit Test? Starred Billy Crystal as a pregnant man? Did you love that fucking movie? You want to remake, not remake, but you want to create some of those similar fucking jokes for this fucking piece of shit? If you wonder why I'm not going in depth, because when this movie's is fucking bad, I forget about them. So fuck North. Then there's like a assassination attempt. Then you find out most of it was a dream, and he goes back. And who's to say in the long run everything would get better? It wasn't funny. Wasn't funny. And then number one, Ghoulies 4. DavieVids, because this fucking franchise was on life support. Intravenously. Ghoulies 4, I remember as not a kid, but I don't like the first Ghoulies. I like Ghoulies 2, and I like Ghoulies 3. I think Ghoulies 2 and 3 are fun B movies. Ghoulies 2 I like more. I like that it takes place at a carnival. But Ghoulies 3 is definitely goofy and sillier, trying to be like a wannabe Animal House. But I like it for what it is. I think it's fun. I haven't watched the Blu-ray, but I got the Blu-ray from, the Lionsgate Limited, which would have been the Vestron release, but they don't really do a whole lot of that anymore. But anyway, Ghoulies 4, okay, they bring back the star of the first film, but then, number one, I don't like the first one, and number two, there's no fucking ghoulies in the goddamn movie. It's these two little munchkin demons that are nothing like there's no fucking ghoulies in a goddamn movie called Ghoulies 4. It was so fucking cheap they couldn't afford the Ghoulies. So instead, the guy who wanted to fuck around with dark magic in the first one, he's a cop. Weird change in direction. And there's this woman that sometimes looks like she's an S&M deer, and then there's these two demon little guys, and it's much more lower budget. It's trying to be, the humor didn't work. The director, I think he's Jim Wynorski, which if that's the case, one of the only films I liked him doing was Chopping Mall. 9 times out of 10, if he makes a movie, is shit. It's like, what's that guy who did Fred Olin Ray? Jim Wynorski and Fred Olin Ray are two peas in a pod. 1 out of 100 movies is good. The other 99 suck. Jim Wynorski, maybe you'll find a couple more good ones compared to Fred Olin Ray, but there may be others, but the only Jim Wynorski film I could think I liked was Chopping Mall, and the only Fred Olin Ray film I could remember liking is Deep Space with Charles Napier. There may be others, but those are the only ones that come to mind. But Ghoulies fucking 4. Is that it? Is it Ghoulies? Well, I mean, consider it's called Ghoulies 4. It's a pretty big fucking thing that the goddamn Ghoulies are not in a fucking film called Ghoulies 4. The rest of them I don't fucking remember. I didn't give a left nutsack about what the hell happened in that film. To go back to rewatch it. You have to pay me to rewatch some of this shit. Ghoulies 4, North, Police Academy 7. You have to pay me to watch this shit again. If you did, then I will review it or re-review where the fuck. But fuck Ghoulies 4, fuck all these movies. And fuck my internet service. And fuck that company. Fuck that shit. The next time I'll talk about better films of 1994. So, to relax. I have a stroke. Woosah. Woosah. Pizza, pizza. See you guys later. See you later.